Hello, everybody. Well, thank you, first of all, Zanele. Thank you very much for that passionate presentation that you did. You are absolutely amazing. Just to let all the coaches online know that Zanele, I heard at one of these Powerade performance sessions that we had, and she has transformed Marty's netball from bottom of the league to top of the league. Now, that is what has struck me listening to her. It's this passion that she's got, this dedication, this passion, this ability to go out and do just amazing things. So that is very important to the success of a coach. So before I introduce you to Tania, who I've got to know over the last month or so, and she is as passionate, I'd just like to share my screen and show a little snippet before we do all of that. So let me just share the screen. Okay, I'm going to share it. Okay, sorry. Now, that was Tania. I don't know. I found it on Facebook. And I said, I have to share that. She was about 10 at the time. She is absolutely amazing. So, Tania, I'm going to stop and I'm going to hand over to you.
Awesome, thank you, Cassie. And yes, those were. I wasn't quite 10. I was 16 years old. I was in the Springbok team, and I went on to become Springbok coach actually after that. So, Zanele, I really can identify with a lot of the struggles and things that you've been going through, but nothing touches what you've having to deal with COVID. I know, but we did our tournaments all over the world, and it's the same issues with funding. We knew we were as good as the Welsh team and the British team and the Australian team, but they beat us every time. And part of that was it made me reconsider what I'm doing in my sport. And I actually made a decision to move to foundations, to the grassroots levels, because I felt after being an expert and a specialist in high performance and Springbok coach and gymnasts, that I could actually give more back by working with the kiddos. So while you're looking at the university kids and the kids at grade 11 and 12 and your school sport, my focus now for the last 20 years has been on kiddos from age 4 to 12, so school sports. And we don't know where school sports is going. We just don't know. But I'm here to show you what I've been thinking about, because I believe that if you're passionate about what you're doing, you should be able to earn an income doing what you love. If you're clever as a coach and clever as a business person, you can do it. And that's what I've been doing for the last 20 years. And I'm going to share my journey with you and give you an awesome opportunity to earn an additional revenue stream in what you're doing right now. And so I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to jump right in. Okay, the 3 secrets to earning revenue from kids programs in 2020. I hope you're going to enjoy this. It's going to be about an hour long, or I'll probably shorten it now. But if you have any questions, guys, please pop them in the chat, and I'm sure that we'll have time at the end to answer them. Okay, guys, I'm going to ask you to switch off your cell, your Facebook, your email, whatever you've got open. Give yourself the time to really, really absorb this. And let's take a look. So my name is Tania. I've been involved in gymnastics for over 45 years as a Springbok gymnast and Springbok coach and a gym business owner. I've also got a postgraduate degree in psychology from the University of Cape Town, and I'm the owner of Gym Wizards, a recreational gymnastics program for pre and primary school children. And here are a few things that make us unique and I'm very proud of. It's our 6-step tumbling system, which is a progression-based curriculum that kids can work through. And I think now we've touched almost 35,000 children with our curriculum. We've also drawn on a variety of disciplines over the years, so not just gymnastics. We've now incorporated parkour, yoga, rope skipping, fitness, and movement to music. A course that I created called Get Started Teaching Tumbling gives a full professional certification and qualification, and it is fully accredited by the South African Gymnastics Federation. So if you do not have a qualification to teach kids or coach kids, you can entry level with this one and you can go out there and teach tumbling. In June, when COVID struck in March, I created Active Kids, which is our online portal to help children keep fit and keep up their exercise during the pandemic. And in June 2020, myself and my brilliant team also created Fitnastics, an academy that gives tools to PE teachers, gym instructors, sports coaches, and extramural providers to be able to give kids a fusion of fitness, fundamental movement skills that can be done with minimum of equipment from anywhere. This is a picture of my son's primary school, Landudno Primary, and the story goes like this. One day I dropped him off at school and the headmaster said, "Oh, Tanya, please can you stand in for us? Our PE teacher is sick." So I did, and a couple of weeks later when PE teacher came back, they had loved it so much they asked me to establish an extramural gym club for after school, which I did. And you know, the parents and the kids loved it so much that I realized how easy it actually was to make good money teaching fundamental movements and fitness at schools. And so then I decided to build a business on this, and I spent the rest of my time immersing myself in learning marketing and business skills. And within a couple of years, I've made my first million, and I went on to become one of the biggest fitness fundamentals and gymnastics providers in our country. And I'm so grateful now that I can actually live a comfortable life where I can do the things I want and support my family in times of need. So my focus has always been to teach the kids, first of all, but secondly, it now developed into teaching and creating amazing curriculums and programs for my coaches to teach the kids. So the focus shifted from the kids to the coaches, and now it's shifting on all people working with kids who have a love for exercise or fitness to help them on their journeys to start or grow a business. So it's business focused. Yes, to start or grow a business even in this time. And I'm going to tell you why now actually might be the best time ever to do this, or at least to prepare for this over the next year or so. So we know we're in crisis. We've got COVID. We've got an economic crisis that's associated with this. More and more gyms are closing, and more and more schools have, schools have simply stopped giving extramural classes. I mean, in our particular case in Gym Wizards, we had 4 branches running, or 4 branches with about 800 kids. And then when COVID struck, when we came back in July, we were only able to open 1 branch. And we couldn't open the other 3 because they're at schools, which have closed. Or they're limiting their halls, access to their hall. We need a hall, okay, for our programs, because they're using the hall for classrooms because of the social distancing protocols. And so since that time, we've actually opened another venue, which I'll tell you about later. But we've been in crisis. So here's the thing, guys. I'm a coach through and through. And I believe that there's always a way to survive. And it involves 3 keys, and I call them the 3 secrets to survival. So as a coach, when things go wrong, my training is to go back to basics and to find the solutions. So whether you've lost your job, or you've got reduced hours, or you're a one-man band at a school or a couple of schools trying to survive, or you're a gym owner trying to keep your head above water in your gym or your studio or your dance studio or your dojo, with the reduced numbers of kids and staff that you have, these 3 secrets are certainly for you. Secret number 1, watch. Everyone in our industry has to watch the trends. Zanella was talking about how she watched the Aussies playing their game to see what is the trend, what are the coaches going to do in this new post-COVID or living with COVID and sport, doing sport in COVID. And we all have to watch the trends. First of all, to protect ourselves and be safe. And secondly, to actually seize any opportunities that are coming our way, because they are coming. The bold people now will grab the market share. And secret number 2 is all about seeing who is winning and who is losing, and then learning from it. What is working? What mistakes need to be avoided? You need to find those learning resources that are out there and available to you today. Secret number 3, adapt. It's so important to just let go of our precious beliefs and our preconceived ideas of how things should be and radically accept how it is now. We have to wake up and smell the roses, and then, depending on where we are in our lives, as I said, let go and make the conscious decisions what's right for our futures. And that means we're going to have to adjust our teaching strategies and our marketing strategies in this new environment. So here's an example from my life. I always watch the trends, and back in the day in 1998, when I established Gym Wizards, I'd been watching the trends. When I resigned from my sport job, my high-level Springbok coach job, I knew that the time was right to do so. I'd seen that there was a huge gap in the schools with physical education. And the reason was, in our country, in South Africa, the new government had come in, and by 96, they were doing huge budget cuts. And one of the fatalities was phys ed. So they reduced the training budget for phys ed teachers. And there was a sharp decline in knowledge. And so many schools simply stopped giving physical education. And of course, the parents and the public knew that the kids needed it. So I was able to step in and offer my services as a private phys ed teacher and extramural coach, because the parents in the schools were now prepared to pay for this kind of service. And essentially, I adapted and shifted from being a sports coach at a Springbok gymnastics level to giving phys ed and fundamental movement classes to kids in schools, to all kids in schools, no matter what talent level they are. And because of this, my business was able to thrive. So the timing was right. Yes, I had lady luck on my side with the story of the sick PE teacher that I had stood in for. But the reason my business went on to thrive was because the timing was right, and I'd seen what was going on and seized the opportunity. And I think we're all having to do that again right now with COVID. So what are the 3 trends right now? You know, let's take a look at that and what's happening right now. The first trend is all about how kids' education is being disrupted at an accelerated pace. The second trend is a health crisis, not only with COVID, but other diseases and illnesses that are creeping in as a result of lockdowns and having to live with this virus. And the third trend is the faster acceleration and the move to digital methods of handling life, from shopping to children's education to online exams, like Zanella was talking about, the students having to write their exams online, to running businesses, and so much more. Let's take a quick look at each one of them. Even before COVID, there was already a high growth and an adoption of online learning and homeschooling and distance learning. But even since COVID, there's been a huge surge. Of course, we had to do it. Schools were closed. Kids had to carry on learning, and so they learned how to do it online. Now, while that might be good for some, it's actually been quite a disruption. Not all the kids thrive in this situation because they need the support, the structure, the social and the interpersonal aspects of a physical classroom and real teachers. High touch And I'm talking more about the younger kids, age 4 to 10. They really, really seem to need the routine of the classroom. And part of the education disruption is that for us, as we know, the knock-on effect of the disruption to the school sports education and the physical education sector within education. And we're all suffering as a result of that. And we've taken a knock, especially after school programs, sports coaches, teachers, NGOs, but first and foremost, mostly the young learners have been seriously affected. There was a study done by Oxford University. The kids aged 4 to 10 have increased anxiety, increased behavioral difficulties, and increased attention span difficulties. Since COVID, they're doing the studies. It's all coming out now. The second trend we're seeing is the health crisis, of course, with COVID, but the secondary complications. Now, we know the World Health Organization recommends that kids should be doing 60 minutes of exercise a day, and they're not getting it. Why? Because schools are closed. They're sitting in front of their screens on average 5 hours a day more than before. And there are huge concerns that with this pandemic, this lack of access to regular sport or exercise can lead to challenges of the immune system and physical health. And it can lead to the diabetes and obesity. Long-term repercussions have yet to be seen, but the slothfulness, sitting around doing nothing, and obesity are around the corner. Guys, already in the world, there's 150 million kids suffering from obesity and going up sharply to 250 million predicted by 2030. And of course, with people not having enough food, or should I say not enough money to buy this healthy food and nutrition, obesity is skyrocketing all over the world. Diabetes type 2 is also presenting earlier and earlier, and children in school are getting it. And we know that your risk of getting very sick from COVID-19 is likely to be lower if your diabetes is well managed. We know that the people who got very sick are the guys with the underlying diabetes. Okay. Stress also increases the risk of getting diabetes, and we all know that exercise reduces stress. And not exercising can make you more stressed and can have mental health impacts. We know there's a lot of stress and anxiety out there. We're seeing, economic stress, financial worries, isolation, and we've seen this. Luckily now we've got the level 1 and we're able to move around more and more, but we're still suffering from this, especially the economic stress. And the usual tools that are available to us to help manage it, like exercise and social life and sports and family, are simply less available. The third trend that we're seeing is a move to the digital and the virtual world. Guys, the internet is open for business, and to generate extra or supplemental income, many gyms have taken to giving online classes. Yes, this requires some changes and adaptations to the way we were teaching before, but these are the trends, and people are changing very successfully. They're actually changing their curriculum, and we've changed ours for the online classes, the activekids.co.za. And we actually see thousands of classes all over the internet. I'm sure you have too, with stretching and meditation and functional fitness and all sorts of classes which can be done online. But just remember, this kind of adaptation requires that you need to have a routine. It's no good doing it every now and again. You've got to have your routine, and there must be a proper curriculum. And also, very importantly, an ability to market yourself and get yourself out there so that people join your classes. So what have we done? We've taken a look at the 3 trends. Now, what can we learn from them? Secret number 2 is all about learning. A leader that I follow always says, if you want to know how to do it, go find someone who's been successful, copy their business model, and you too will be successful. So what are the success people doing? The successful people, they're doing joint ventures. And I want to give you an example. Now, don't just jump into bed with anybody, as they say. If you're going to go into a partnership or a JV, make sure you do it with trusted people that you've known for a long time and that you share the same values with. let me tell you what we did. Okay, so we lost all our school venues, and we found a venue close by to one of our biggest schools. It happens to be a kids' indoor playground, play park. And so what we did was we went to them and we said, okay, guys, we'll give classes in the afternoons, because we knew that their foot traffic was dead during that time. And then what they do in return is they gave us a space inside their venue. So we give the classes in the afternoon, we get the foot traffic in there, which means their coffee shop does better, and their their play area gets fuller. And then on the weekends, when they're very, very full anyway, and we're giving our classes, it's acting as a showcase, and in turn those kids are joining our classes. So it's a win-win situation. We're not paying rent, we're sharing some of the income, and this means that the more kids we get, the better it is for our landlord. So it's a win-win situation. I'm sure there are lots of people out there that would love to do this. You just need to take your thinking cap, think outside the box. Downsizing. People are downscaling, of course, to smaller venues. I've got friends all over the world who have given up their leases, and they're using grass patches, recreation centers, church halls, and even sometimes they're even outside without even being on the grass patch, and they're giving these classes all over. And the cool thing is that our program, Fitnastics, is so versatile that we can fit the curriculum into any venue. People are adjusting their marketing. So I've got a friend in America who actually has 88% of her club members join up again. So pre-COVID, she's now on 88%. I said, Diane, how did you do this? She said, Tania, I did Facebook ads. Simply learned how to do Facebook ads. And not only did she learn the digital way of advertising, she also changed her message. So her message is all about safety and sanitizing, and how does it work when those kids come into her gym. They've even got a little funny mat that they use, which cleans everybody's feet or sanitizes everybody's feet as they walk in. They made a video of this. It went viral, and it's been a huge, huge hit. So again, using and adjusting your marketing. And then going virtual. Of course, we've spoken about that. And there's a whole industry emerging that is for the virtual classes. As I said, we've done Active Kids, and I've got a friend called Daniel who's got a website called mygymsonline.com that will help you put your classes online if you don't know how to do it. Luckily, I've got a technically savvy husband who can help me, but if you don't have one of those gems, go to mygymsonline.com, go check them out. They'll help you put your classes online. And offer new programs. So some gyms are giving up their facilities to the homeschoolers, getting teachers in to help kids homeschool, especially if the parents can't supervise these kids, they have to go to work. And we are also, what we found working really, really well now is we're offering our schools that we used to be in, and we can't be there anymore now. We're offering them our brain break videos. And these are amazing. They're going down so well. These schools love it because, of course, the kids are sitting there at school. They haven't got their regular ability to move around. They're pent up energy. They're bored. And so these brain break exercises that we've offered them are doing really, really well. Okay, so we've looked at the three main trends that are currently converging. And we've looked at the winners, who's getting it right. Now the question is, how do we adapt? And I'd like to draw on ancient wisdom in the form of the I Ching, the Book of Changes, to frame this for you. The I Ching sees crisis as a two-sided coin. On the one side, there's danger, and on the other side, opportunity. So what I want to encourage you guys to do today, guys, is look at the opportunities that are actually there for you. And I'm going to just talk quickly about 4 clear opportunities that I've identified. And maybe there's a way that you could embrace 1 or 2 of them. Be adaptable enough to just run with 1 or 2 of them. If gyms are closing down and schools aren't doing extramurals, that means there's a whole lot of kids that aren't being serviced right now. If gyms are closing down, it means that there are qualified staff available, maybe possibly even with reduced hours or unemployed. If gyms are closing down, it means that there's equipment that might be for sale at a very good price, or equipment for hire at the schools. And if gyms are closing down and social gatherings are not allowed so much, a lot of venues are probably standing empty or have been standing empty and unused, and landlords are desperate for tenants. What can you do with these opportunities? Well, first of all, I take a look at my existing mindset. If I were a coach in this situation, which is what I am, and this is what I did. Are you waiting for someone to give you a job, or are you going to take your destiny in your own hand and start your own little side hustle? Maybe you've got a job and you need extra work. So here is a way for you to bring in extra revenue, but you have to change your mindset. You can't think I'm going to just rock up to work and at the end of the month get my salary. No one's giving jobs anymore. You have to go out there and make your own jobs and seek out customers by learning marketing and sales and other aspects of business as well. That's key. The next thing is I would get myself set up. I'd go down to that closed school or that closed gym and say, rent me your equipment, or let me teach your 10 kids for free, or your grade ones or whatever. Let me use your equipment for free until I have built up a little nest egg of money and I can start buying up my own equipment. Okay. And then I would diversify. Whether you're a gym or a coach, whether you're a one-man band or you've got a whole gym, you can do this. You can diversify. You don't need to teach the same things you've been teaching all the time. And you don't need to teach to the same age group. Get another segment of the market. If you're teaching high school kids, go primary school. If you're teaching primary school kids, go preschool. If you're teaching preschool kids, go primary school. And diversify and use different programs. You might want to look at fitness, yoga, rope skipping, parkour. And of course, you'd have to change your curriculum. But just make sure your curriculum is progression-based for the kids. Kids will have to have their social distancing. And so this should be fitness and strength-based activities and yoga-based activities, rope skipping, and certain activities that minimize the high-touch contact stuff with these kids, because COVID is still here. And it means if you are doing this, then basically you are already planning classes that can go virtual. Another big opportunity out there, guys, listen carefully, because sport and education together provide children with emotional and social skills for life. We know that sports gives social skills, right? Much more than when they're just at home watching a screen. This is a huge, huge gap right now, which means it's a huge opportunity. So if your curriculum is actually also looking at the social or emotional aspect, and if you've got that stuff in your curriculum, you're on the right track. We've been using our 12 social skills in the Fitnastics program, and we take 5 to 10 minutes out of a class to educate the kids about bullying or overcoming obstacles, communication, accepting differences and diversity, respect for ourselves and each other, hygiene, safety, and cleanliness. And especially with respect to that, that's important now, especially the United Nations says, actually, our role as teachers right now is to promote safe return to teaching and safe teaching and sanitizing and cleanliness. The next thing to think about is something I'm always blown away by, and that is, what are we actually doing with our kids? Now, for example, I'm going to tell you what the effect of a single jumping jack has. Jumping jacks, right? What does a jumping jack do to a child's brain? Did you know that a jumping jack provides bilateral integration, which is about using the two sides of the body, using the right and the left sides together, and using the bottom half and the top half of the body together? And a lot of bilateral integration involves timing and rhythm, which relates to coordination. So in that way, jumping jacks also help with coordination. They also help with body awareness in terms of proprioceptive and vestibular input, because you cannot see where your legs are when you do a jumping jack. So you have to actually be able to feel where they are and that they're opening and closing. And the same thing with your arms. You can't see, you have to feel where they are. with proprioceptive input, as you land on the ground, your muscles get a hard jolt. And what it does is that it reinforces the positioning of the body. So every time you land with your feet open, that sends a message to your brain that says, my feet are open and closed and open and closed. And bilateral integration links very closely to crossing the midline, which also relates to using the two hands together for things like cutting, working with buttons, tying shoelaces, a lot of things little kids struggle with. And crossing the midline also affects things like reading, because your eyes have to go from the left and cross over the midline to the right and track the words without losing their place. And also, jumping jacks are such a great way to tell whether the kids are developmentally in the right place or not. So by age 5, they should be able to do arms and legs together. And under 5, they should be able to jump with their legs going open, close, just the legs. And of course, we're looking at developing core strength and rhythmical jumping. Muscle tone is developed as well. Wow. I've been teaching for 40 years, guys, 40 years, and I didn't know that until just the other day. The point is that if you really learn what you are actually offering your clients and the real value of the exercises on the child's developing brain, and you focused on this, you're going to have a whole new opportunity opened up to you. We call these exercises brain awakening or brain breaks exercises, and they're even more important than ever now with the children having to learn at home and sit for long periods of time. Why? Because they get virtual fatigue, and they need these movements to awaken the brain and counteract this virtual fatigue, which is a real thing, guys, virtual fatigue, sitting for too long. And it primes the brain for maximum learning when you do these brain breaks. And the best of all is that they can be done at home with minimum equipment. And we found our brain break videos a huge hit with the schools, the teachers, and the parents. So we've looked at a few options for you to start thinking out the box. I hope you've been inspired by this. And we've looked at your mindset. We've looked at diversifying. We've looked at the wisdom of downsizing. We've looked at the online trend and the case for going virtual. And so whether you're an instructor or a gym, try and build these opportunities into your plans. But remember to make sure your messaging is correct and that you know how to do digital marketing. Get it out there, and you're going to have the parents and the teachers and the schools clamoring for you. So my whole life has been a mission to get kids fit and to develop their brains and bodies optimally, because they are our future leaders. And what the United Nations is recommending is that it's saying we really need to be an advocates of safe teaching and safe reopening in the short term, but in the long term, guys, and they've penned this, they've announced this, they've said this, they've said everyone, the government, the private sector, and the United Nations itself should put money into supporting physical activity with a special emphasis on youth sports. Guys, the world needs us, and people know it. And I'm stepping up to fulfill this mission, and I hope you guys are starting to see that you too are either part of it already, or you can be part of this. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what we're actually doing with Fitnastics. Fitnastics is the program that I've put together from my 20 years of experience, that from my pivot that happened back in the day when I went to schools and I started teaching the fitness and fundamental movement skills, as opposed to the high-level gymnastic skills. It's a team effort, I must say, with my dear partners, Marty, master coach, trainer, and PE specialist, Jason, webmaster, graphics, and e-commerce, Nico and Deanna doing the digital marketing and the social media marketing, Sam and Michelle who create all our lesson plans. It's an online academy that offers fitness people, sports coaches, and people generally who'd like to work with kids in fitness or exercise, full curriculum and the full business skills needed to be able to earn an income, sustain yourself doing what you love. And at the core of it lies a very special curriculum that's based on tumbling, gymnastics, parkour, that's where the guys jump from building to building, rope skipping, functional fitness, yoga, games, and movement to music. We know that the movement to music is so key for kids. It's got an incredibly wide variety and a rich vocabulary, catering for all aspects that children need as they're developing. And it's been specially designed for kids aged 4 to 9 years. Now, even though it's been designed for this age group, all the exercises in the program can be applied to older kids, high school kids, university students, and adults. In lockdown, when we did this series online, I participated in the live classes, and boy, did I pick up a sweat, I tell you. For me, it isn't just about fitness, though. It's about setting kids up for success by strengthening their neural pathways, their brains, to help them learn better, read better, and maths better, as well as their character development through social and emotional skills that are written into each lesson. Let me show you a little bit more about this. So here's Fitnastics, and when you come in, you can take a look at our instructor course. So our instructor course starts over here, and you can take this website down, fitnastics.com, and I'm going to pop into the course so that you can have a look and see what this is all about. There's the lovely Marty, and when you come in, you will see that this is a learner management system with slideshows, videos, and quizzes. It takes about 8 hours a week for 4 weeks before you finish, so it's about a month-long course, and then you've got another 4 weeks to submit your assignment, whereupon you will become fully qualified to teach kids this program in the age group, as we've mentioned, the 4 to 9, but of course you can use it also for the older kids. Module 1 is a welcome, and we look at the benefits. Now, the benefits are very important, because if you can't tell parents and teachers what the social, emotional, physical, and cognitive benefits are, you're not really going to be able to sell the program. So there's a 5-minute video on that. There are 15 modules with a practical assessment at the end. And as I said, once you've done this and you become a member of the South African Gymnastics Federation, who will accredit the course, you can go out there and start teaching kids, even if you don't have a qualification. We look at equipment. There's some equipment that you must have, not very expensive, and you can start off. I started off back in the day. You saw that phys ed picture with just some benches and mats. Okay, and then we talk about some equipment that you must, that's nice to have. Starting and ending your classes, preschool warm-up, how to do it. These are all video activities that you will be able to see when you go into the lessons, and at the end of each section there's a little quiz which you make sure you answer before you move on to the next section. Module 2 is all about ages and stages of development. We look at the 4-year-olds, the 5-year-olds, the 6-year-olds, the 7-year-olds, the 8 and 9-year-olds, and here we look at our social skills, and I'm going to just show you a short snippet of a video here.
Resolving conflicts. Now, we need to explain to the children that the message is, I'm going to try to resolve conflicts in a quiet and peaceful way. And we explain that a conflict is when you have a problem with someone or they have a problem with you. What is conflict?
I'm just going to move on.
Resolve problem. Face it. It helps us to keep on trying. Around us, that's disrespect.
So you might have picked up there that we looked at the 4 social skills there out of 12. So there's 3 videos, and we looked at participation, respect, and diversity, and overcoming conflicts. Okay, so very important things there. Then we look at our module 3 here. We look at teaching fundamental movements using the biomechanics and the lead-ups. So we talk about what are lead-ups. These are very important drills, because in our sport and in our sporting type, this is the underlying ABCs of movement for all sports, guys. This program is a fundamental movement package. Let's take a look at the rope skipping.
Now we get to the skills called crisscross. Because it's a new skill, we start with the double bounce jump. Remember what we learned, we call the basic jump. And when you're ready, you cross your arms, and eventually you can do criss-cross. Criss-cross,
So you
or
can
you can...
see it's very rich. Look at the safety vault. This is a parkour skill.
Safety vault.
And we go into the explanation of that. We look at progressions and intra-task variations. As coaches, you will know you've got some kids that can do it and some kids that can't. And you have to be able to toggle between your drills and give them more difficult ones and less difficult ones. We go into examples here. And then in module 4, we look at skill families and we look at all our locomotions and all our basic movement patterns, our landings, our statics, how to do a handstand, how to do a bridge. These are all videos, guys. You can see short videos, some of them and some of them longer. Look, that's an 18-minute video on the handstand, but a 2-minute video on these locomotion slideshow concept. Then more shorter ones and longer ones. We look at the cartwheel, we look at hurdling and jumping, and so on. And you can see that we do over here, module 5 is all about the rope skipping curriculum. So we teach you how to teach the movements. Module 6, all about the parkour. Let's take a look at the precision jump.
Precision jump. A precision jump is when a child in your class has picked a point or marker, either what you put down or they put down, or a point of their choosing, where they land safely in a precise manner.
So you get the idea. And we go through all these movements. The little boys love this. They think they're little ninjas when they do parkour. Components of fitness. I'm sure you guys know all about fitness. We go deep into each aspect of fitness and we give you playful activities that you can do with the kids to get them nice and strong and mobile and fit. And we also talk a lot about body alignment. Module 8 is all about different learning styles and how to create variety with using changes of levers, changes of levels. So you take one movement and you can make it 10 different types of movements using these varieties, these fundamental changing of levers, levels, center of mass, direction, rhythm, the repetition and the amount and the frequency, the change of equipment, the change of environment, the change of using a partner and combining activities together in different sequences. Very, very cool module that. This is my favorite module of all because of my psychology background. Become a brilliant teacher, plan and set the foundations, the anatomy of a fitnastics class. This is a cool one. I'll show you 1 minute of this.
Anatomy of a fitnastics class. This is the components and the structure of your lesson every single time. Part 1 will have a greeting and a warm-up. This will take about 15 minutes depending on the length of your lesson, but let's imagine we're doing an hour-long lesson now. 15 minutes, this will include your safety rules, your protocols, your
Anyway, we go over the full anatomy and the full breakdown of a fitnastics class. We look at protocols, we look at safety rules, we show you a demo lesson. We actually, this was at the University of Stellenbosch where we did this demo lesson. So you can see it's 43 minutes and you can see I'm teaching a class there. We look at Module 10 is all about how to instruct and demonstrate properly, how to keep the flow, how to be more interesting, how to discipline the children, how to minimize off-task behavior, and how to motivate kids to practice my psychology again coming in there. Module 11, music, 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 and the brilliance and magic of music and how to use it. Module 12, preschool sequences, school-age sequences with music, so that you've got some cool examples of how to do that. Safety in Module 13 in detail, injury prevention in Module 14, and the wonderful world of different kinds of kids, preschoolers, kids with health issues, special needs kids, and the differences, of course, between children and adults. You'll be surprised what they are. At the end, there's a practical assessment. Now, once you've done that instructor course and you've got your certificate, you will be given a lesson. Is another example of a preschool lesson being given by one of our teachers, Coach Michelle. And here's another example of our school age lesson given by Coach Sam. And with each of these lessons, you get a lesson plan. So we've created a story for preschoolers because, of course, preschoolers need a story. And we have a virtual example and an in-gym lesson plan. So let's take a look at one of the lesson plans. It looks like this. You can see we tell you what you will need, what props you will need. We tell you about how to welcome the children, what social skill you need to embrace, how you're going to do your warm-up, what music you're going to use. We give you a list of music, or you can just join Spotify and download some cool kids-friendly music. Then we've got the stretching activities here. We've got some hopscotch jumping in a hoop. We've got some parkour. That's the safety vault. You saw that being done earlier. And we've got there's the handstand work, some more kicks for handstands. We've got jumping work again. And over here, some ball skills, kicking through cone. And at the end, some more music. And we've got our cool Fitnastics greeting or goodbye. We say stronger spirits, fitter bodies, smarter minds. Goodbye, Fitnastics friends. And we all shout that at the end of the lesson. It's just a way to brand it as well as to embed in the kids' consciousness the fact that kids are actually doing something amazing, doing something fantastic here with their bodies and their minds. And so let's take a quick look here at what else is in here. Now we've got the marketing course. Now, if you do the digital marketing course, then basically you will see that we've got everything that you need to know about how to do Facebook, optimize your Facebook page, how to set up your ads manager and your business manager, how to what offer you're going to give the people, how to create a lead form, how to create the ads, the ad layout, the ad copy, and create the ad campaign, target your audience, how to test your ads, and how to follow up afterwards. And this is our pride and joy, our movement library. Okay, our movement library is a resource that's very, very rich, and it's got all the different types of movements, basic body positions, stretching and flexibility, locomotions, handstand work, hurdling work, rebounding work, rolling, cartwheels, fitness, rope skipping, and parkour. And most of these can be done with very minimal equipment. Let's take a quick look at, for example, stretching and flexibility. Now, if we pop in here, we can see I've made a whole list of the stretching and flexibility movements. You can see loads and loads of them. So if you don't know what to do, then you can just click in one of them. You can see there's a description and the coaching points, and you can also see there's a little image that shows you a little bit more about how it works, the body positioning, and there's a nice video here.
Posture for standing up is very important, as it's the basis for all movements going forward. It's important in order to protect the spine, as well as aesthetically looking good as you're performing movements. So, first of all, have the child standing straight. Ask them to tuck their bottom underneath them, and pull their ribs down.
So you get the idea of the movement library. And we've got, as I said, over 150. It's all in one place. We've got the full. If you don't know what to do in that lesson plan, you just come here and you go check, and we've got all the different drills and amazing activities in here. So that is what Fitnastics is all about. I'm going to come back to my slideshow here, and I'm going to just explain what options there are. Number one, instructor training is where you'll become a Fitnastics certified instructor. That's where you did that 15-module course and you get your first lesson plan. It's where you learn the science and the pedagogy behind the Fitnastics program and how to actually teach the movements. Fitnastics Plus is where you will included in the course would be the Fitnastics instructor course, But also added would be the digital marketing component that I actually showed you with the Facebook ads. Masters, this is the support part of the package. So if you do go for Masters, you will get yellow and blue, as well as a weekly access, should I say, on an ongoing basis to our Facebook group, as well as the movement library, the full curriculum with report cards for kids and a grading certificate system where they move up the levels from pre-grade R to grade R to yellow, yellow beginner, yellow advanced, blue beginner, blue advanced, so they have a hierarchical progression. And the parents just absolutely love this. And then you also get the movement library of 150 videos and lesson plans, not only one lesson plan, but a lesson plan sent to you every 2 weeks, because we recommend that you use the same lesson plan for 2 weeks in a row with these kiddos. And you get your lesson plan, so you don't have to even think. You can just pull your lesson plan down, look at what's in there. If you don't know something, you go look on the movement library, and voila, you have a product that's sellable and marketable. And finally, Fitnastics Elite, where you get Tania's brain. So you get one-on-one coaching from me with everything else that I've just said, yellow, blue, and red. You also get the one-on-one coaching with me. And so my passion is really to help people in our industry to get kids moving. And I really believe in what we're doing, because it really embraces the need for changing how we're actually offering our programs to children in a COVID and a post-COVID world. It can be done in gym or virtually. And here are some of my clients have said, if you're looking for someone who can help you build a kids sports business that actually makes money, one person I can recommend is Tania Williams. So that's nice, from the Federation. And from Rush, I don't know if you guys know, Rush Extreme Trampoline Park, with our need to stay on top of the safety aspect of our instructors training, Tania is my go-to source. And there's loads more, but I'm going to move on, and I'm going to say to you guys, if you're still here and you stuck it out with me for this presentation, I'm going to reward you with a gift. I'm going to promise you a free strategy session with me. If you want to talk about your business and see if Fitnastics is a fit for you going forward, book a call with me within the next 4 hours. It's only for the next 4 hours, or for the first 10 people who book. And I'll sit down with you. We'll strategize around where you're at, how you can start upping your game in terms of revenue and business, and where Fitnastics, in fact, can fit your needs, and which one of these programs actually would suit you right now. I hope to see you on the call. Guys, here's the link to go and book. go.fitnastics.com/book. And I'm going to open up for questions and answers. If you guys have any questions, you can shout, and I'm sure that we can have a nice discussion now. But before we let go of the screen, I'm going to just give you that link one more time, go.fitnastics.com/book. And I wonder, Sean, if you can pop that link in the chat, that would be absolutely amazing. Thank you, everybody. I hope it's been exciting for you, as it has for me. And I'm open to questions, so please shout.
Thank you, Tania. That was very, very enlightening. We've had a lot of people saying this is interesting, enlightening. We do have a couple of questions. First of all, I must say, what a wonderful opportunity this is. And I must commend you for the hard work that you've done in putting this online at such short notice and putting it together during these COVID times. But first of all, the question is, some of these coaches don't have time themselves. However, there's a lot of unemployment in this country. Can they get, for example, their sister to buy into this program, and will she be able to do it? Is it open for everybody? That's one of the questions.
Yes, absolutely. It's open for everybody. So the fantastic thing is that whether you already are a coach or not, so if you are a coach, this is an enrichment program and an additional source of revenue. Okay, if you're not a coach or a sports instructor, then you can become one, because this course now has been accredited through the South African Gymnastics Federation. So it's one of the accredited courses. And so once you've done your 8 weeks, you know, your 4 weeks course and your 4 weeks putting your assignment forward, of course you have to pass your assessment, and we've got our lovely people who will look at your work and make sure that you pass, and then basically you'll get your certificate. You have to join as a member of the South African Gymnastics Federation, and then you can go out there and start establishing your own little club, your own accredited fitnastics club to teach fitnastics. You'll only be accredited to teach fitnastics if you don't have another qualification. So if you're already a soccer coach, fine, you can, of course you can go and teach soccer. If you want to do fitnastics as a soccer coach, you can now teach soccer and fitnastics. But if you come in from scratch with nothing, then you will be qualified to teach fitnastics, which, remember, is a hybrid of rope skipping, parkour, gymnastics, tumbling, the yoga, and the movement to music aspect. So it's quite rich, and there's loads of activities there with fitness and the ball skills and so on. So it's actually quite rich.
Okay, if you're living in a township, and for example, you've just finished school and you're not going to be studying, but you'd like to just go and perhaps buy into this and start a business on your own, but there aren't really facilities. How would you suggest that they put this together now?
Yeah, I would suggest going to the local town hall, or going to the local school, possibly now, maybe with schools, with things sort of in level 1, there might be more of the schools deciding to open their doors now, or onto a sort of an oval or a grass patch that's quite visible to the community, and cordon it off, and maybe get a friend with a trailer or something, and get a couple of mats and a couple of ropes and a couple of hoops and a couple of cones and a couple of balls. I would actually go to that school and say, look, have you got some equipment that you can lend me for half a year maybe, or 3 months, while I build myself up, and in return I'll give classes to some of your learners for nothing. Do it like a nice exchange. Because also there's not so much pressure on you then, because if you're doing it for free and you're offering it to your community for free at first, you can make your mistakes. You know what I mean? It's okay. And then that's what I would do, and get my confidence up and build it up. But I would say from the beginning, guys, it's only free for a limited time. Okay? So don't set the expectation that it's for free forever. You know, you've got to make a living. You've got to actually earn some income and put bread on the table. So, and this is a real good way to do it. I would also try and look, business always says, and I'm sure there are people with a 5 Rand or a 10 Rand or a 20 Rand who will pay for their kids to come and participate. Even if it just gives them the time to go off to the shops and to go and do what they need to do. It's a fair exchange.
Okay, then we've got here, are you teaching PE at public schools and private schools, or just private schools? If you're also training public schools, how were you able to get into public schools?
Yeah, I'm in the public school, not private school. I have been in the private schools before, but I took a decision to come out of the private schools and to develop my own, the public side of things, as well as my own venues. Okay. And then of course, COVID hit, and we had to get some other venues because we weren't even in the school. So currently we're actually not even in any school, because as you know, school is not doing any of those activities, but we are currently at public school. And it was not easy, but that a couple of the schools that I did do, it was just persistence. It was knocking on the door, making sure you get past the gatekeeper, who's usually the secretary, who won't allow you to see the headmaster, you know, and then going to the headmaster and having my whole planned what I'm going to say to them, which is what is the benefit that this offering can offer the school and the community and the children. So I had my marketing spiel really, really clear in my head, and then I gave demo lessons. I did demo classes for free for like half a year. I'd say I'd come and teach all your grade ones for 6 months, every Tuesday from this time to this time, and then they liked it so much. Of course, it's called the puppy dog tactic, where you see the nice puppy dog in the window and you say, oh, I want the puppy dog, and then you take the puppy dog home first to see if you can cope with the puppy dog before you send it back. It's that kind of thing. So people are easier when something is for free. So give it for free, but make sure you tell them it's not for free forever. Get in that way. That's how I'd suggest you do it.
Okay, now could you buy into the gymnastics and then approach a school and say to them, I'd like to introduce this into your school as like a subject, and can you bring this into schools?
You can definitely bring it into schools as an extramural activity, so for kids after school, so not part of the formal school day. And in terms of in the actual PE lessons, if you were to do it in the school curriculum day, you would need to speak to the individual schools and see if they would be open to having these kind of activities. I know the schools that we are with have embraced it and love it, but they do 2 phys ed classes a week. So the one is our gymnastics program, and the other class is like ball skills or swimming or other or life orientation or what other aspects of the curriculum require. But they do 50% of their time in physical activity is with us. So, and it seems to be working really well. And we have a teacher with us, and we train the teacher as well at the same time. So that's super cool. So not only is the school getting the benefit for the kids, but the teachers themselves are becoming equipped as well.
Okay, we're going to cut it down. Oh, okay. In your experience, what are the basic requirements for a coach to be allowed in school? And if you have work commitments, what are the basic requirements for a coach to be allowed in school?
To be allowed in school curriculum time or extramural time?
To basically to become a PE coach. I think that one, what Tanya's trying to say to Sibusiso, I think what she's trying to say here is join the gymnastics, get your certificate, and then you can go to the school and say, right, I've got this gymnastics qualification. I'd like to teach PE in your school. I think that's basically what you're saying.
Correct.
And then if you work 9 to 5, is there a way you can do work with schools?
Yes, absolutely. I actually had a client yesterday that I was speaking to, and we worked out a whole business plan around her doing only a Saturday morning. Only a Saturday morning. And she would find a venue. Actually, she's going to go to one of the schools and ask, because I mean, I'm sure their hall is available on a Saturday morning, Make a plan, go there, get your mats, get your qualification, offer 3 or 4 amazing classes that just rock the socks off the kids and the parents, and start earning income. And we made a business plan for her in her area. She can possibly make 10 to 15,000 Rand a month with only a Saturday morning.
Okay, now
it's going to differ from area to area, of course, depending on your clientele and your LMS level. But for her, and it wasn't a high level area, it was a very middle area. And that's what our business plan is for her.
Okay. Now, we've run out of time, so I'm just going to make a comment put through by Marty. I suggest it can be offered as a component to their phys ed or any other class, as it's addressing the outcomes of the curriculum.
Marty's our specialist. She's on my team, and she's the head, she's the master trainer, actually. And so she knows all the stuff about the curriculum and all of this, even more so than me. I do as well. I'm more on the business side. So we've got like a high level team of curriculum expert and business experts and curriculum and lesson plans and websites and the whole shebang.
Okay, well, thank you, Tania. This is fantastic. And I'm going to tell you that us from Intune, we think your program is fantastic.